So the next question, so this is under topic averages. The question is, in a class of 135 students, 75 are girls. Average marks of boys and average marks of girls are 64 and 70 respectively. Even after 30% of boys and 60% of girls leave, the average marks of the boys and girls remain the same. Find the average marks of the remaining students. So this question is from the exam IBPS RRB 2017. So friends, for this question with simple ratios, I'll tell you how to get the answer. So I'll give you the answer within seconds. So answer is 64 plus 2.5, which is 66.5. So average marks of the remaining students is 66.5. So now friends, I'll tell you how to arrive at the answer with the simple ratios. So first we'll see the question. I'll explain the question to you. So in a class of 135 students, 75 girls are there. So then boys will be 60. So boys and girls, 60 boys and 75 girls. And they have given average marks of girls and boys and girls. For boys it is 64, for girls it is 70. So now 30% of boys leave. So in this 60, 30% boys leave, where which implies only 70% are there. So in this 60, 70% is 10% is 6, 70% is 42. And now out of girls, 60% girls leave, there we have 40% of girls left in the class. So 10% is 7.5, 20% 15 and 40% is 30. So now 42 boys are there and 30 girls are there in the class. So it is given that average marks remains the same. So now to find average marks of the whole remaining students, for the whole class, for the remaining students, total boys and girls. So what will be the working? So number of boys into their average plus number of girls into their average. So divide this by total number of students, boys and girls. So dividing this, we get average of the remaining boys and girls together. But all this takes time. So instead of going for this working, so just we can take ratio of these boys and girls who are there, remaining boys and girls. So what is the ratio here? 42 boys, 30 girls. The common factor is 6. 6, 7. Highest common factor is 6. 6 into 7 and 7 into 5. And now ratio is there. By this allegation process, you can understand the question. So no need to do all these workings. So boys we have 7 parts and girls 5 parts. Now boys average is 64, girls average is 70. Average of the whole remaining average of boys and girls together, so will be only in this range. And now subtracting, so this is higher, so x minus 64 should be equal to 5 parts. So now this allegation process, I am using this shortcut, this allegation, to understand the question, not for this working. So because this working also takes time. So 64 minus x minus 64 is 5 and 7 minus x is 64. So from this we can understand that average of all the remaining students, boys, girls together, x, which is 5 parts more than the 64. And average of girls is 7 parts less than the total average. So we understood the question, and now we have to solve this. 70 minus x by x minus 64 equal to, so working part will be, so cross multiply and working. So but instead of doing this too, so by this allegation we understood that average of whole is 5 parts more than 64 and average of whole is 7 parts less than 70. And now taking this averages 64 and 70, so ratio is 7:5. So dividing this into 12 parts, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Drawing 11 lines, so it is divided into 12 parts. So now from this concept, average of the whole is 5 parts more than this 64. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we have here the average. So now what is the difference in this data, 70 and 64? Difference is 6. So this is divided into how many equal parts? 12 equal parts. So when you divide 6 by 12, so one part is half. So this average is 5 parts more than 64. So what is 5 into 0.5? It is 2.5. So each box has 0.5 value. So 0.5, we have 2.5. Average of whole is 2.5 more than 64. So 64 plus 2.5 will give you average of the remaining students as 66.5. So when you work out this way also, where it is 7 parts less, so which is 3.5 less than 70, you will arrive at the answer. So now with this simple understanding and this pattern of working, so where you are dividing the data into equal number of parts, so without doing all this, I got this answer as 66.5. So first I saw how many boys and girls are there. So if 30 and 60% leave, we have 42 and 30 boys and girls. Ratio of boys and girls is 7:5. So this data difference is 6. I divided by 12, which is half. So from this ratio we can understand that boys average of whole is 5 parts more than the 64. So if one part is 5, one part is half, 5 parts will be 2.5. So answer is 66.5. So friends, instead of doing this working, so with this allegation process you can work out. So but when average of whole is asked, so this part of working will be easier. Say suppose I'll explain this with another example. Say ratio of boys and girls is 3:2 and average of boys is 60 and for girls is 70. So how many parts, what is the difference in data? It is 10. So how many parts it should be divided? It should be divided into 5 parts. And now average of whole, so you should take the other part. It will be 2 parts less. So we will have average of whole here. So what is difference in data? 10. So it is divided into 5 equal parts. So each box you have 2. So now what will be, so if suppose it is given that ratio of boys and girls is 3:2, average of boys is 60 and average of girls is 70. So using this simple procedure, this data 10 is divided into 5 equal parts where one part is 2 and here we have 2 more than the 60. So average of the whole will be 64. So hope you had understood. And for our question, average of the remaining students for boys girls together, answer is 66.5. So we'll go to the next question.